Welcome back to the Always Aggressive podcast. Corey Palm, Tanner Lipsick, head coach Tony Ersland. We got a busy week, fellas. A lot of action on tap as we look ahead. We're gonna take a minute or two or three and look back first at three. At the dual action last Saturday night, the only action of the week for the Boilermakers. Michigan State came to town, and the 7 o'clock Saturday night primetime dual, coach. Really funky team scoring deal. Ended up 5 bouts each team. Yep. Ended up 1 bonus point victory for each team. We had to go down several tiebreaker criteria to decide the duel, and it ended up being 1 total point scored on the night in favor of the Spartans. So they get the dual victory on technicality. Just what did you're always learning, right? What did you learn Saturday night about your guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's an old adage in there that every point's important. You don't ever give up easy points, right? And never was that more true than when it came down to that criteria and we lose 49-50 on criteria to them. A lot of things in that duel went wrong. I mean, listen, first of all, they've got a nice team. They had good matchups. They matched up well with us. It's Big Ten. We've always said, you've got to be ready every time. And I think we got in a duel where we got pulled into their match, and they were keeping it closer, in my opinion, and not doing as much, not trying to be as aggressive, especially at 25 and 41, let's say, where we're definitely ranked a lot higher. And yes, we won those matches, but that's where we could have put up big points and really dominated and kind of, inserted ourselves in an aggressive way. And I just didn't feel like we did that all night, like all night long. It was more wrestling to win. And that may sound funny to some people, or wrestling not to lose, how, you can think of it a couple different ways, but either way, you're not trying to, score points, be aggressive as you can, really be dominant in the match, which is what we needed to do, especially the way it shook out at the end. That definitely, we left the door open by not really being super aggressive at 25, at 41. Kendall wrestled well at 57 after being out of the lineup, being a little nicked up. It was nice to see him kind of, get a very tough match. The Soldate boy was in the finals at Scuffle. So a good win for him, making his reappearance in the lineup. But yeah, I just thought, we were a little sluggish and we didn't look like we really wanted to wrestle, aggressively to get our points, in situations. We could have done more and it bit us in the butt. It usually does. Those things come back. And at the time, you get by with a win at 25, but we never came out, got aggressive, got on top, and got our top game going, which is very good. And again, 41, same thing. And then never in my mind, as I just evaluate it, right, at 97, we got put on our back. That's going to be a tight match no matter what. The win can go either way, but it's going to be a tight match. And we got extended looking for a heel pick and got run over to our back. And now that's a 7-point difference. So there's just a lot of things. You look back, there's a lot of situations where we could have been cleaner and sharper and more aggressive, and we paid for it, and we paid for it. So I'm pretty confident they'll have learned their lesson, and they'll have that sense of urgency and that value that every match, every point is important. It's something that we're stressing and working on in practice. And so, I'm pretty excited to see their sense of urgency and how they compete this weekend, knowing what just happened.
It's funny you bring up the adage that you brought up, every point matters, Tony. I ran into one of our women's basketball players yesterday who they had a tough loss on Sunday that came down to the wire, overtime similarly. And she and I had the same conversation about how this not just a wrestling thing. This is something that's preached across all sports. Every possession matters, every point matters, every position matters. And man, we at the Purdue community got to see 2 real live demonstrations of it, unfortunately in the same weekend. So like you said, I think it's important to, I think I'm excited to see where the guys go from here and the next step that they take. I did want to say, you said that you said that we as a team did not come out with urgency. And I did want to call you out on that, because I thought Kendall and I thought Garrett Nienhouse both went out and really did their jobs. Kendall specifically, in the fact that, that was probably the feature bout of the night with him and Chase Saldate. Saldate was having a really nice, well, I should say is having a really nice season. I think he started off with like 6 straight falls to start the year. I think when I looked at his record, that's pretty impressive. The last 2 times that they've wrestled, both went down to the wire. I think one was sudden victory and one was, takedowns late in the match type of deal. And so to see Kendall really blow it open with 3 third period takedowns, I think, especially coming off an injury, I thought was really promising.
No, and that's a fair point. I mean, I think the general tone of the duel is we didn't have the sense of urgency that I wanted. Probably fair to say, that Kendall, was fairly sharp, which I would agree with. But I think you also got to look at situations there too. When you have a team, who is defensively tough, right? Hand fight position, they don't extend themselves a lot in general. You've got to work hard to score early and create action. And I think Kendall, got that takedown going early off the single leg. And now, Saldate has to come get us to some extent. And that opened the door for us. And that's where I'm like, we needed to do that more often in the duel, like really come out, get the first takedown, set the tone, force them to have to engage us, on our terms. And that's where we didn't do it. Garrett, again, the progress there, came out, did what he was supposed to, got bonus points. We would have expected it. He did what we thought he should. And so, it's fair. And even Michael Wolf, when you bring it up, right? Michael was out there doing everything he could at the end. He's a very dangerous guy. I mean, he's out there trying to find points. So, I should say, when we're talking about sense of urgency, Michael knew what the situation was.
He knew the score.
They're being aggressive. He was out there on the side riding, trying to look for points where he could catch a wrist and fall or maybe take it to his back. So, when I talk about the general tone, you're right. There was a few exceptions, but I think the entire team needs to learn from what happened, why that happened. Certainly you don't go down the rabbit hole. You don't want to go down there bumbling in the dark and let it be a hangover. I don't think we've done that at all, but it's a lesson. It's a lesson to be learned. And you've got to believe that your best, we're pretty good, right? Like our best is pretty dang good. And if that's the case, what do we got to do to be our best? And we've got to be focused on scoring points, not just trying to win, not just trying to get out there and win by a point and think that was good enough. It's get out, execute, be aggressive, show your skills off. And that's really where I'm at. You just kind of more from a fired up standpoint is making sure these guys understand that, like, don't just get by with a win. You're better than that. That's not your best. And we're here, to be our best, right? That's what we're striving for. So, I'm confident they're getting that message and understand that the way things shook out, being on the short end of the stick on criteria.
That's why he's the coach, Corey.
Exactly. The other thing, Kendall, great match, great win, but he won by 7. If he wins by 8, is that one more point? Michael Wolf, throwing everything against the wall. He won by 6. One more takedown. It's always on the flip side of that. Panola lost by 7. So Michigan State's coaching staff saying the same thing to Cam Caffey. You go get that major, and it flips everything. It's
absolutely.
It's one of those things. You look back after and say, man, it really is a quarter of a second here or an inch there.
Yeah. What is it? Man, what's that old football movie? Al Pacino talking about the inches are everywhere we need.
Any given Sunday.
Yeah, there you go.
Any given Sunday. There you go. Any given Sunday, the inches are everywhere we need in every break game. And we didn't create enough breaks for us. We just didn't do that. So I don't want to belabor it, but I'm confident, that this will probably motivate them in the right way. here's an example of where it cost us, big in terms of a dual meet and how we can be better and approach this in the right way. And so, when you look at it that way, a January loss does not got to affect March or February moving forward. So that's the way I want to take it. We'll use it and create that sense of urgency and that kind of what we need to do, and we'll be better.
Corey, isn't that the same movie where Lawrence Taylor throws an alligator at somebody in the shower?
It is. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And he cuts a car in half too, doesn't he?
Yes.
Don't get on his bad side. That's the lesson there.
He seemed like, I mean, those are some pretty extreme examples, but yeah, that would be an individual I wouldn't want to upset.
They are.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. And so when you were talking about, it's the right there, it just shows, right? That's where my head goes.
That's a outstanding Pacino monologue there.
It is.
Yes.
One of the best.
Really good. Should we go to this weekend? There's a lot this weekend.
Yeah. The nice thing is you get to turn the page quickly and some top-notch competition. Illinois coming in on Friday night. We'll talk about that one first. The Fighting Illini coming off of a tough loss to the Hawkeyes this past weekend. They fell 36-3 in dual action. A lot of people are gonna get their tails kicked by the Hawkeyes this season, so no shame in that. But the Fighting Illini coming in, I know there's a lot of really good matchups in this duel that we can expect.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, another Big Ten duels, a lot of good individuals, highly ranked individuals, and even matches where it's not ranked on rank, right? Just good kids that are going to be a lot of tight matches that will determine the duel. So again, it's important that you go out and do what you're capable of doing. If you can get bonus, you got to get bonus. It's gonna mean the outcome of the duel more than likely at the end. But again, just excited to be in our home, our home stand, our home crowd. That's a great thing. And then to watch maybe how they approach and come out. Like, I'm looking for a strong response here. Like what we just talked about with Michigan State, I'm looking for a strong response. So I'm excited about it. We're at home, friendly environment should be great for us that way. And then I'm wanting to really see these guys kind of come strong and put their best foot forward in terms of how they compete and getting to their attacks and creating their scoring situations.
Before we get into some of the best matchups, Friday night is a big one on our calendar. It's our annual Hammer Down Cancer event.
Yep.
We will wear special edition singlets that were donated to us by our friends at Rudis. And those are, I shouldn't say will be, those are being auctioned off online. There's information at PurdueSports.com for people who want to put a bid in. We will auction off, I believe, 13 singlets. And all of the proceeds for that will go to the Purdue Center for Cancer Research here on campus. And so obviously a very worthy cause and, something that our fans can engage in and rally behind. So excited. In addition to that, the singlets are real sharp. So our guys over at Rudis did a good job with them. Alec White said it was the most comfortable singlet he's ever put on.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, okay. Not that I've never worn a singlet, will never wear a singlet.
I was going to say, the cool thing about the auction is they're great if you've got a youth wrestler that you can find the right size. They're great, they're very frameable. They're very, they're darn near pieces of art. Or if you want to wear them around the house while you're vacuuming, dusting,
whatever you're into.
You got all sorts of different options for the
whatever you're into.
Yep. No, it should be a great night. As you said, a very worthy cause, and then, with us kind of being at home for the weekend in general, just really looking forward to what this can be for our guys.
Let's look at a couple matchups with the Fighting Illini. I wanted to start first, 125, Devin Schroeder and Justin Cardani. Always a dogfight between those two. It's always a very, very close match.
Yep.
It's interesting. In all the times they've wrestled, I am not sure that Cardani has ever been underneath D for more than a few seconds. I don't think he's never picked bottom.
He doesn't go down.
He's never picked bottom. And any takedowns Devin's got have been like at the end of a period, like towards the end of a match.
Yep. Yep. No, it's again, it's kind of indicative of big, right? It's going to be a tough, gritty match. I mean, Cardani likes to get down on a knee and wrestle low, makes it hard to penetrate to his legs. So, he's a little different guy to approach than maybe your normal opponent. And again, has found ways to keep it close. Dee's managed to come out on the right side of the score, I think every time that I'm aware of, but Devin knows what he's going to have to do. They are familiar with each other. So it's not like it's going to be a different feel that he hasn't seen before. They're common opponents. And I'm sure Devin has a really good handle on what he needs to do, and he'll go about executing.
Absolutely. Another matchup to point out would be probably at 184. Max Lyon and Zach Braunagel have had some wars over the last few years. And I expect nothing less on Friday.
Well, and last year, most people wouldn't know. I mean, I wouldn't talk about it, going into the duel. But last year, Max Lyon had just come off quarantine with COVID and went out there and he won. I mean, he found a way to win that match. And I'm telling you, and this is last year, and he's been obviously training in the room. It's not the same situation, but my man was tired last year. Like, I just remember Max showing so much heart, because he was not in the kind of shape that you want to be in to compete, but we had to go. It was a short season, only 9 duels. He just gotten back from COVID, from quarantine. And that's what I remember is he found a way to win. He gutted it out. Like, he was a warrior to win that match, but my man was tired.
Yes. So Max got pushed into quarantine a couple times last year. And the funny thing
was 3 times. I think it was 3 through the whole year.
Max, when Max had to be quarantined, Max never actually got COVID. He just kept getting traced. And he would take off to some cabin that his family owns up in Wisconsin. And he'd go up there, and he told me he'd go up there and chop wood for conditioning. That was his big thing. He would go chop wood in the middle of winter, like a scene out of Rocky or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't want to obviously stay in the COVID dorms or whatever, where stay locked in your apartment, for 10 days. I think that's what it was at the time, was 10 days probably. So he came off of those 10 days of not being able to do much and went out there and found a way to win a very, very tough match. So a lot of respect for him. And that's what I think of, with Braunagel and Max scrap. Sure. And it'll be another hard scrap. They both like to scrap hard. So looking forward to it.
Well, they're both in their 11th year of eligibility, I think. So.
No, that's the thing. Braunagel, I think they're only redshirt sophomores.
No.
Yes.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I'd have to look.
I think they're like 4th year sophomores with the COVID year and the red shirt and all that stuff. But still, we digress. First year coach, Mike Poeta leading the Fighting Illini. Should be a really good one. 7:00 Friday, Holloway Gymnasium. Now, be clear, Friday is in Holloway Gymnasium. Yeah, because we're wrestling in 2 different locations this weekend. And I'm not going to, obviously you guys know, but Sunday is one that I am really, really excited for obvious reasons.
Yeah, no, it's something really different, right? I mean, the concept of pairing a wrestling duel with another event is not new, right? Beauty and the Beast, right? Where it's wrestling and gymnastics, for instance, can go on side by side.
Rumble and tumble.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that have gone on in the past. So from that standpoint, not new. But man, with basketball, I've never seen it, and I think that's pretty exciting. And so we are going to definitely try to capitalize on a tremendous crowd for Purdue Northwestern men's basketball, and then we're going to try to go within an hour of the conclusion of their game. So yeah, all of that makes it very exciting. And, we want to entice everybody to stick around and have a very large crowd catch a wrestling match and what should be a very entertaining competitive duel.
Hoops and Headlocks Sunday, men's basketball versus Northwestern, 1:00, sold out crowd, 14,802, I believe is the number we go with, Corey. Is that right?
That is correct.
And then following that, 4:00 start for Purdue versus number 8 Wisconsin in Mackey Arena. Should be pretty awesome. our friends at Levy have put together some deals that will go on between the two duels. There's going to be some, I think, $5 beers, some free popcorn, some other specials that they're going to give away, so people can hang out. We're going to try and put the Big Ten Network studio show up on the video board and get people, give people something to watch, listen to the analysis. They're going to talk some hoops. They're going to talk some wrestling. Should be pretty cool that way. But all in all, should be a pretty cool day in Mackey.
Yeah, a lot of tremendous things. Like I said, to be on the verge of getting this done, right from the infancy of the idea to getting people on board and then now kind of being ready to execute it is pretty fun to see. And what's more so is Wisconsin off to a good start. Should be, like I said, should be a great duel. We're a lot of tough matchups in there, but one we're very, very capable of winning, and we'll have that expectation. So again, something that people shouldn't miss it. You know what I mean? And it's an opportunity to maybe, I don't know what the largest crowd ever watched a Purdue wrestling match, but if we can keep a bunch of those fans in the building and add a few more to boot, it's going to be something special to see.
For sure. We would like to set an attendance record for those who are interested in contributing to that. We've heard the paint crews got some incentives to stick around after the men's basketball game. Would nice to be able to keep some students in the house. Hoping the Purdue band sticks around. And, all of our various John Purdue Club members and everybody else who's coming out. We've Purdue men's basketball has had they have one of the most well-renowned environments in college basketball. And we would love to see if our fans can transfer a little bit of that over to the wrestling mat. So make plans to spend your entire Sunday in Mackey Arena. Come hang out with us. Should be a great day. As Coach said, Wisconsin off to a hot start. They are 7-0 on the season, 3-0 in the Big Ten. They have risen to number 8 in the country in the latest NWCA coaches poll. And they have an interesting mix of young kids and transfers that really make up their lineup. True freshmen at 41 and 65 for them, and transfers in at 49, 74, and 84.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting group for the Badgers.
Absolutely. And different styles across the board too, right? Like, sometimes with teams, especially like Iowa, you understand what they're going to be from a hand fighting standpoint, from a position, but they have a lot of different wrestlers, a guy like Barnett and a guy like Weiler, very much, a lot of scrambles, going to take place, going to wrestle a little more unconventional elevators and switches and different things like that. Where then you wrestle a guy like Gomez, who's very much, a short, stocky kid, a positional kid, a physical kid. So again, not one kind of thing you just get ready for. You've got to really watch film and get ready for that individual's kind of tactics, which can vary quite a bit based on where they've kind of come from. I think Gomez is Iowa State, McNally is Kent State, Weiler's Lehigh. They've really been in the portal a lot, I guess you'd say, with some of their guys.
Yeah. And can't remember. I'm not really sure where I was going there, but it's a lot of toss-ups, a lot of 50-50 matches, some history with some guys going back and forth. So both schools have a match Friday night.
Yep.
Wisconsin is at home against Nebraska, who is looking for a win. And should come out, it'll be interesting to see how healthy Nebraska is at this point. I know they've been missing some guys in their lineup, so it'll be interesting to see if they get back to 100% to take on Wisconsin on Friday, or if they'll still have people out. But then obviously Wisconsin will jump on the bus on Saturday and come down the road to wrestle at our place on Sunday. So that will, neither team with an advantage there will both make weight on Friday and turn around and make weight again on Sunday.
Yep. The only difference is we don't have to travel, which I love after starting off Big Ten season with that 4-day road trip. So to still be at home again, I'll enjoy sleeping in my own bed and getting ready for these two teams.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't say how excited I am. I can't speak enough about how excited I am for Hoops and Headlocks. I think I really hope people want to stick around and want to experience it. We go into Mackey every year. That's not a new thing for us. We've done that consistently in your time here, and even before you were the head coach here, Tony.
Yeah.
But doing so with a crowd already in place and trying to, like I said, I've said this before on the show, I wanted to just lock the doors.
Yeah.
Just throw some chains on the outside,
Probably some issues.
Fire marshal probably wouldn't let you.
Yeah.
Fun hater.
Jeez. Joey Kill.
No, it's different too in this. Like, how often do the basketball and wrestling crowds, intermingle? And like I said, the goal is to keep as many as we can and make a day of it and really get them to enjoy, what this is. And then all the exciting things going on in Purdue athletics too, right? I mean, obviously men's basketball doing well. We're off to a good, strong start, doing well. Women's basketball definitely trending, in the right way. Volleyball, soccer, football. So just for me, an exciting year of Purdue athletics. You hope that your fans, right, continue to want to see that and be exposed to all the sports that Purdue has to offer. I mean, these kids work their tail off, man, and they're pretty good. And so exciting time for Purdue athletics. And again, I want to get in front of that basketball crowd. It doesn't happen very often for a wrestling coach, but man, I want to be in front of them, and I want to expose them to some good wrestling. And hopefully we pick up some more diehard fans along the way because of it.
Well, we saw over the weekend what that paint crew can do for a non-basketball event when they showed up in force for that women's basketball game against IU. It was electric. I was watching at home on TV, and I'm like, dang, I'm missing out. This is fantastic.
You did miss out, Corey. I was at the game with my son and my wife's parents, and that place was rocking.
Yeah.
Yep.
So hopefully, I'd love to see that same scenario for y'all on Sunday, no doubt.
That's what we're hoping for and looking for.
I think that's all we got this week, guys.
I think so. One thing about the Hoops and Headlocks, I know we've talked about it a couple times over the last several months. How important was getting the BTN's buy-in? Like you said, Tanner, they're going to do a studio show where they're going to analyze, basketball and wrestling. They've really put a lot of weight behind the wrestling coverage this year. But for them to say, okay, we're going to take both live on the air, on this Sunday afternoon, it's going to be a Purdue block, but it's going to be a really non-traditional sort of a deal that they're all in on.
It was interesting when we were planning it and when we were calling, we called AJ Eads at the Big Ten and talked to the Big Ten about it, because we knew that in order to do this right, we were going to have to get buy-in on their end so that they would, help us with scheduling, they effectively had to take the wrestling schedule and the basketball schedule, and they had to figure out a way to line up an opportunity for us to do this.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't put a men's basketball game and a wrestling home duel in West Lafayette on the same day, can't have Hoops and Headlocks, right? So getting ahead of it and putting the idea out there before schedules were done and before, that was there. Once we had that part set up, the buy-in from the network was easy. They were excited about the opportunity. They, they're in favor of stuff like this. They like I don't want to say gimmicky, but anything with a storyline, they like to pick it up and run with it,
Yeah, those events have done historically very well, is what we've been told. BTN, in our April coaches business meeting, always stops in and tells us how TV went, what they did. And just gives us the rundown of the year, like anything. And they have always said that, the two teams, even though they're different sports competing back to back, have done well in viewing numbers and those kinds of things. also. So I felt strongly that they would like the idea if things could line up, for instance, Nebraska wrestling has done something, and then they've done back-to-back where Nebraska men's basketball on TV, same day, and people have stayed with the viewing and watched. And so those numbers have been good. So like Tanner said, like, as long as it lined up, I think we all felt really good about them being interested in doing it because it can work from attracting people like they want.
And I think, it's cool, the fact that they're going to send one camera crew down and they're going to, roll through. They'll move some cameras around and they'll adjust some settings and whatnot for the broadcast, but they'll be able to roll from one right to the other. So it'll be pretty cool to see kind of how it all lays out and how it all works out.
Can't wait. It's almost here. A lot of anticipation, a lot of planning, and a major payoff this weekend. Just a reminder: Friday night against Illinois, Sunday afternoon against Wisconsin. Coach, good luck. Can't wait to see how the boys respond, and we'll get back together next week and talk about it. How about that?
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys. We'll catch up later down the road. Boiler up.